I love checking out different nurseries whenever I have an opportunity. So when I saw this nursery out in Rochester, Washington, I knew I just had to take a look. Despite my the protest from my family, they were closing in half an hour when we got there, and so I ran around trying to look around before it was too late. And one thing I should mention right off the bat is that, like, I normally go for like the clearance aisle plants, the ones that are like rescue me type plants, because I have so many already that I need to be really frugal in what I spend. So this plant nursery is really beautiful. It is pricier, but the specimens all look extremely healthy. They're much more mature, and they even have things that are like topiaries, bonsais, really artistic plants in really optimal health. If I was a landscaper or if I was flipping houses, um, like if you're planting something for yourself and you're like, I don't mind waiting 20 years for it to look that great, you can just do whatever you want, right? But if you're trying to make something look really good so that a person will see it right away and go, wow, that's great. It looks amazing. You want an older plant. You want a plant that's more, like developed, like this monkey puzzle tree for $290 or 289.99. That's a lot of money for me. I would buy the seeds from like Burnt Ridge Nursery when they have them, and I would take the time to grow them slowly. But I already have mature plants on my property. If a person doesn't have mature plants, sometimes it's hard to wait for things to kind of bulk up and look nice, and having the immediate gratification of something beautiful right now. It There is a place for that, right? There is definitely a place for that. The prices here are mostly out of my price range, but if you look around, and I think that's so pretty, I love that like dusty blue on the green. I think that's very aesthetic. But if you look around almost everywhere, you're going to find something that you can afford. And I did find one thing that I took with me, so we'll see that in a minute. But like even here we're passing these Japanese maples, and I actually will look around my neighborhood and Japanese maples drop their seeds, and you'll see these little plants and stuff growing. Oh, I did like how they have the nut shells as their mulch. That's a really clever idea. So what I was saying is, but you'll find good deals no matter where you go. And if you don't mind waiting 10, 20 years, like I don't mind, because I really enjoy seeing something sprout or seeing something root from a cutting. I'll gather little, Japanese maples from my neighborhood, or I'll see Kusa dogwoods, the little tiny ones that I know someone's going to go over with a weed whacker. And I'll collect them and I'll save them and I'll grow them. And I've got some that are like 4 feet tall that we saved from, landscapers who would come in and just kind of like weed whack and stuff. So if you're patient, you can get plants for free or really, really cheap. Um, but if you really want something to look good right now, that's really beautiful, a nursery like this where you have much, I wouldn't say mature plants, but way, way more mature than what you would normally get at a regular box store. The price tag matches, but you have to think about it this way. It's like you're paying rent for the space and you're paying for the time it took for those plants to develop to that stage of their lives. So these look really top notch. I wish I had had more time to look around. Now, if the younger plants here obviously are cheaper, that's the kind of stuff that you would find at a typical place. But the specimens like the monkey puzzle, I'm really impressed with. I actually planted monkey puzzle trees. Um, probably a decade ago. I bought some seeds from Burnt Ridge Nursery. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. I don't remember. They didn't survive because they did grow, but they didn't survive because I didn't know that monkey puzzle trees are, when they're babies, they're really sensitive to sun, to too much sun. And it was really, really hot summer. I watered them obviously because I'm not dumb, but they didn't make it because a lot of really large trees, when they're babies, they're under the shade of a canopy of a forest. So you do need to provide some. I'm cycling back through because I wanted to show this again. I really love that dusty blue. I want to go back there someday and get that. So hint, hint, if my husband is passing that way and you watch this video, I want that plant that has the blue dusty foliage at the end. I think it's gorgeous. It reminds me of the baby blue spruce I have in my yard. So I do think this place is worth going to. Just realize it's expensive. I am going to do this thing with the mulching. I wanted to zoom back here on the video footage because I use a lot of things for like chop and drop. Using things like coco coir is really cool too, or using those clay pebbles. But I have hazelnut trees. And so I was thinking, what a clever idea it would be to use the hazelnut, um, when you crack the nuts open, whatever you have left, I wouldn't call it chaff, the shells themselves as a mulch. Also, if you think of things like a pistachio nuts, I would probably rinse those off if you're eating them, like they're salted and stuff. But pistachio nut shells don't break down very fast. So it kind of is nice to put around as a mulch around your trees. And then when you water, you don't get that splashback effect when the water hits the ground. It doesn't splash soil and microbial life and fungi and bacteria up onto your tree, which is really important because you can get diseases in your trees like peach curl. If you have stone fruits like apricot and peaches, nectarines, they're really prone to peach curl. And so just watering them can make them sick. So if you have those types of fruits and you put things down like coco coir and leaves and mulch and rocks and shells of different nuts, then when you water, it's not splashing that that fungus up onto the plant itself. So it's a really important thing to think about. I was looking over here at the ferns and the hostas, and they're so beautiful. So many different types. Some of them were actually in flower, the hostas were. And as I was videotaping, I was like, definitely going to have to do a voiceover because my family was literally yelling at me, come on, let's go, let's go, let's get in the car. And I was like, I'm not done yet. Just let me look around. Um, so I was looking around here and I was like, I did find these are huckleberries. So evergreen huckleberries. And I did buy a plant at a farmer's market recently. So I already have one, but this one was like, I want to say the same price, and this is a lot bigger. So I thought getting the huckleberry at the farmer's market was a good deal because they are kind of harder to find, but they're a native plant. They're delicious. I one time was driving out to Spokane and we stopped at somewhere along the road. There was a like little burger shack or something, and one of my colleagues got a huckleberry ice cream shake. And I thought, you know what, let me try that too. So I tried one. Oh my gosh, it was so fabulous. It was just fabulous. It was wonderful. I thought, you know what? How fun it would be to make your own like shakes and smoothies from the berries in your yard. And I grow a lot of blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, thornless blackberries, grapes, all this kinds of stuff. And I wanted to have huckleberries. So I did buy this plant here, and so it made it worth it for them. I mean, they were closing like right then. I think I checked out 10 minutes before their closing time. So they thought they were concerned because they're like, oh no, they're gonna try to buy a bunch of stuff and then it's gonna take forever. By the time we check them out, they're gonna be after their closing time. But I did get out of there before they actually closed. Now, again, I will say you should check out their website, and I'm going to read something from their website. It's laelsmoongarden.com, Laels moongarden.com, and it tells you their hours. If you go to their home page, it will tell you when they're open, and you never know if a place is going to be like. So I click on visit hours and more, and then it tells you that their regular hours is from March to October. They're Thursday through Monday, 10 to 6. They're closed. They're open on. It says open on Monday holidays, President's Day, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. They're closed Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm a little confused. You might want to call ahead to make sure that when they're open. Um, so I would hate for someone to drive out all the way out there and then them not be open. So double check, look at their website, give them a call. Let's see here. Do they have their phone number on their website? Yes, their phone number is 360-273-9567. If you're interested in going to their actual location, it's at 17813 Moon Road Southwest in Rochester, Washington. So it is a really cool little place. And like I said, especially I'm definitely recommending this to landscapers, or if you are trying to sell your home and you're like, you know what, or maybe you're just frustrated with having to wait, or if you're independently wealthy and you can spend $300 on a tree, this is the place to go to get something that's really lovely already, where you're not having to be patient. Now, I'll tell you, if you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, our ability to wait for something is different because we are thinking, I've got 40 more years to live, right? I know that sounds kind of morbid, but if I was in my 60s or 70s or 80s and I wanted to have something planted in my yard, I wouldn't want to plant something that I would never see it in its best, right? So I totally don't begrudge anybody for not being frugal. I'm frugal because I don't just think about like the plants in my lifetime. I think of my garden as a legacy. And when I'm planting something, I might never see it come to fruition. Might never see a harvest from it because some of the things I'm planting live 400, 500 years. Um, but if you want to see a turnaround right now and you want to see a beautiful garden and landscape right now and not have to wait, Lael's Moon Nursery in Rochester might be the place for you. Um, and I don't want to begrudge anybody for being wealthier than me, because I'm like, I couldn't afford a $300 tree. That's just not how I am. But I did find the huckleberries for less than $20, and I was very happy about it. They do have a whole section there on garden tips. Check out their website, like I said, laelsmoongarden.com. And if you click on garden tips, they have things about living Christmas tree care, which is very cool. I was actually going to talk about that in a different video. Northwest natives, peonies, pruning, strawberries, tomatoes, and peppers, and year-round container gardening. You also can click on their inventory to see what else they might have. They have actually they have 2 tabs full of gardening tips because they had so many. They have edibles and containers, how to plant and water critters and gardens, clematis, all that kind of stuff. So check out their website. Um, they have a lot of information on there. They even said, and I'll actually kind of quote them here. It says, visit our nursery, enjoy a walk through the display gardens and find plants for sale that you have been looking for. Imagine a tranquil place to enjoy the sounds of birds chirping and frogs croaking, to relax amidst tantalizing fragrances on the breeze, to feel the warm sunshine on or cool shade as you please, to observe birds and butterflies at work and play, to savor the taste and smell of truly fresh, ripe fruits and berries, where the air is rich in oxygen, to live happily in the garden here and now. Come visit our garden and be inspired to plant your own Eden. The best time to plant a tree, 10 years ago and today. Display garden friendly service and knowledgeable assistance. I love that. It was very poetic, actually. So that I didn't write that. That's on their website, on their homepage. They say that they offer a wide variety of trees, shrubs, edibles, and select perennials. I did see a lot of native plants when I was there, and they have selected plants that are specifically good for this climate in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State, probably for good for Oregon as well. Just really beautiful. Um, it's nice to find places that are specific for your region, because if you go to a big box store and you pick out plants from there, they might sell you something that's really beautiful, but it would be beautiful in a garden in Georgia or Texas or Florida, and you bring it home and you put it in your garden and it doesn't do well. And or they sell you things as annuals that are really perennials for other places. So it really is nice to find a few things that are really good for your specific area. The perennials I planted in my garden are just fabulous, and I don't have to work hard to take care of them. They take care of themselves. I don't even have to water them because it's like their roots grow really, especially if you have them in the ground, not in a pot. A lot of my natives, because they have been grown here, they weren't shipped here and kept in a hot house. They're grown outside year round. they have done so much better because I got them from local places. I do want to show you here that I grew magnolia seeds. So like I'm not going to be able to buy a tree for $200 or $300 from a nursery like this, but I planted these seeds from a really beautiful southern magnolia tree that's growing locally. And I have now all these magnolias. I actually have a really large, I shouldn't say large. I've got a nice size magnolia tree in a pot in my backyard that I'm hoping to get into the ground in the next year or two because it's just a beautiful tree. And if I get into the ground, it's going to do so much better and grow so much faster. And I want to enjoy the magnolia flowers, which, by the way, are pollinated by beetles, not by bees. Magnolia trees actually evolved before bees existed. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit there is if you want to grow magnolia, you're growing an ancient tree that existed before our honeybees existed. So that's really neat. Neat little piece of research there. Magnolias are beautiful, and I love the smell of the flowers. But if you think about it, the smell is very different than other flowers. It's not. I wouldn't say it's not even that floral. It has like a different profile to it. Anyway, I did like the topiary. I do want to get into making those as well. And I wanted to show the figs there. So this is my fig tree in the backyard. That's a brown turkey fig. And when I got it, I think I got it from, oh, super fast growing trees or something like that. Um, I bought so many, I don't know, I kind of lost track, but I think my tree there was $99 when I first got it, and it's way more valuable now. It's given me more than $100 worth of fruit, and over the years, I've taken so many cuttings and sold them that tree has made me money. So, it's a brown turkey fig, and a lot of people get into that fig snob kind of mentality of buying all these really fancy trees, and I did too. I did too. I bought a bunch of different types of figs, and the brown turkey fig is the only type that's given me a substantial crop. I've gotten figs off of other trees, but the brown turkeys, these get actually this tree, they'll I'll get figs off there that are bigger than a plum, and they're just so sweet and delicious. And we actually do get a second crop off of them. So this is the tree to go for. Everybody was saying go for Chicago Hardy, but my Chicago Hardy fig dies down to the ground every year, and by the time it grows back again, it's like run out of energy to provide fruit. So, if you do buy a fruit tree, I would recommend getting a brown turkey. The brown turkey figs are just really, really good. And I sell cuttings. I'm kind of ridiculously cheap on my cuttings. I do them for like 1 for $5 or like 6 for $25, and I usually throw in a couple extras for free just in case one doesn't take. And I've had people comment back and tell me that almost every single one rooted, and they are about the easiest to grow. This is a cold hardy ginger. I don't know how, if it's just for landscaping or if you can actually still eat it. But people will grow these and they will die back and grow back every year. So if you want something tropical looking in your yard, this might be a thing to do. If you are trying to do it on the cheap, the way I do it is I just get some ginger from a store, like especially like the Asian markets, and I'll look for a piece of ginger that's already got some growth going on it. I'll plant it in a pot with really good drainage, um, and then it'll be a house plant. Make sure you check out my channel. I have a lot of different playlists. I have lots of videos. I actually like that one playlist right there has 91 videos. I've got almost 600 videos going and less than 600 subscribers. So I'm obviously doing something wrong. So if you're watching my video and you haven't subscribed yet, please check me out. Look at my different playlists. I would really appreciate, I need more watch time. So if you want to watch some of my older videos, they are still valid. They're not like time sensitive. Go through and see what else. Also check out my community tab. I post a lot of resources on there, tidbits, tips, things, other people's channels who I like. You can comment on there, give me ideas of what things you are interested in. All right, everyone. You know what I say, be good, be sweet, grow a garden if you want to eat, and I'll see you on the next video. See you soon.